Get it on. A little glare on the board. Yeah, I wish I did too. Uh, okay. Okay, let's get it going, brother. Okay, hey, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Barakathum to all the brothers. Yahweh Shema, Alathah Bahashim, Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. We are the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching the truth of the Bible. And the basis of that truth is that the so-called black, the so-called Hispanic, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews. Jew, just a word coming from the word Judah, but the whole tribe or the whole nation is called Israel. We're the true Israelites, God's chosen people. You can call us Jews, you can call us Israelites, you can call us whatever you want. It doesn't change who we are. And since 1969, you understand, the ISUPK has been the home of the truth, meaning that if you're not in the ISUPK, then you're not in the truth. In the ISUPK, under Commanding General Yohana, we are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group, religion, or faction or anything. You understand? Cult. You understand? Denomination, whatever you want to say. The ISUPK stands on its own merit. That's what we're trying to tell you, because the truth stands on its own merit. The truth stands by itself. You understand? Okay. With that being said, this is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class, or the Hebrew language class, as we see up here on the board. I hope you can see it. It says Lashawan Qadash, which is the transliteration of this, Lashawan Qadash, which means the holy tongue. The holy tongue, or the holy speaking, or the holy language. You understand? Holy meaning set apart. That's simply set apart, separate. You understand? That's what the word holy means. It's not no mystical, unknown meaning where everybody has an opinion on what it means. It simply means set apart, okay? So we got that. I'm Officer 500 Yanazar, and I'm honored to teach the class tonight. The normal teacher, Officer of 1,000, Tabawan, is out of town on business. So he asked me to cover the class for him, and of course, it's my duty to do so. So here we are. We're in Durham, North Carolina, and 2534 South Roxborough Street in Durham, North Carolina. I think we're in East Durham or South Durham, right? So you understand? So these classes, the ISUPK teaches classes around the world. Every major city and some not so major cities, you understand? And so here we are in North Carolina, you understand, on a Friday night, the Lashawan Qadash class, all right? And you can come. All Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are invited. If you're not Black, Hispanic, or Native Indians, you are not invited and you are not welcome. These classes are for the Israelites, just as the Bible was for the Israelites, okay? Okay, so, when I do these classes, I try to come up with a topic that I'm comfortable with, and because I'm not a regular teacher of this particular subject, but I do teach on the regular. Okay, so tonight what we're going to do, of course, we're going to do the basic, Hebrew class as far as pertaining to the language itself. We're going to do the pictograms, right, and the prepositions and the suffixes if we have time. But before we get to that, you understand? Because what we're going to do is we're going to get to the origin of the language itself, because the origin of the language lines up with the origin of the people. And what we're going to prove today also with our presentation is that the Hebrew language is, and we're going to prove it, the oldest recorded written language on the planet Earth. We're going to prove it tonight with the Bible, with scripture. Okay? Understand it? So the Lashawan Qadash is a language of a particular bloodline, you understand, which started with Adam. We're going to prove that, okay? Because if I speak English and my wife is English and my children are born to us, what language you think they're going to speak? English. Understand? And they're going to pass that language down for a long time, forever, until something else happens to change the course of history, which happened to us. The course of our history, our linguistic history, was altered. And we're going to get proof of that. Give me Jeremiah 17:4, Baba Kasha. We're going to start there. Then we're going to go into the book of Genesis, because we want you to understand the origin of the people is also the origin of a language. You understand? A mode of communication. Okay? A means of communication. That's right. The transfer of ideas verbally from one party to the next. Okay? So that's what this is all about. And we're going to get a little history, but first we're going to get, we're going to deal with the culture a little bit, because as an Israelite in the Isupk, we totally understand the travels and the journeys and the troubles that we're in and been through. That's and right. How we got to this point. And now we also understand that at this point, we're at the turning point in our captivity. We're at the end of the curses. We're at the end of our captivity. You understand? In other words, any time now, you understand? Christ is going to return. And when he comes, he brings salvation. You understand? You got that?
Come God.
Read.
Come God. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
So the scripture is saying, thou, even thyself, talking to the Israelites, shall discontinue from thine heritage. What is your heritage? It's what you inherit, your culture, your language.
That's right.
Thine heritage. That's what we were to discontinue from. Read on.
Come, God. That I gave thee.
Now, stop right there. That I, meaning the Most High, gave us. We're the only nation on earth whose culture was given directly to us by the Most High God. Now, if that's not holy and special to you, then you need to get a checkup from the neck up.
Right.
You understand? Because to me, that's a hell of a statement right there, that I gave you. The culture, the heritage that I gave you. You're going to lose it. You're going to discontinue. Discontinue mean halt, cease, and desist from that culture that the Most High gave you. Okay? Read on.
God. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
And once you lose your culture, you understand? I will cause thee to serve your enemies.
Good night.
Understand? Your enemies are the same people, according to Deuteronomy 28 and 68, that you were sold to off of those slave ships. Those are your enemies.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
Come. In the land which thou knowest not.
In the land, when did we know this land? We didn't know this land until they brought us over here on those cargo slave ships.
Right.
And the northern kingdom came over here out of need to escape from the Assyrian captivity. And they came over here pre-slavery, but they were the first ones taken into slavery. It was the so-called northern kingdom, the so-called Native Indians, the so-called Hispanics, the Caribbeans, the South Americans. Right. Those people suffered at the hands of the oppressor before they brought the Judites and the Levites and the Benjaminites over here on those slave ships. They suffered first. Columbus came over here in 1492, right? You understand? And from that point on, as soon as they got off the boats, we began to suffer. The slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade didn't officially begin until 1619. That's like 130 years later. You understand? So the Native Americans in the so-called northern tribes suffered 130 years of oppression before we even got over here. So I don't think for a second that you understand that the so-called Northern Kingdom or the so-called Native Indians and the so-called Hispanic tribes didn't suffer, because they suffered, you understand?
Damn right.
Just as well as we did, you understand? And before we did, therefore longer than we did under these people. Now, mind you, when we were in Africa, we're being oppressed by the Hamites.
Right.
From the time we went into Africa after 70 AD, a period of almost 1,400 years, you understand, we were under the oppression of various Hamite tribes or nations, okay? So this is the history that we're bringing out here. That's it on that?
A little bit.
Read, finish it up.
Come on, God. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
You understand? The Most High ain't never going to forget. Right. He's going to forgive us, but he's never going to forget this, the way that we turned our backs on him.
Right.
So when we turned our backs on the Most High, he turned his back on us at a certain point. And one of the things that he said was going to happen to us is that we would just discontinue from the heritage, which includes your language, your history, you understand, your connection to the scriptures, who you are. You would discontinue. You would be somebody else. Now, if you can't be an Israelite, you got to be somebody.
Right.
So that's why blacks, Hispanics, this is why blacks are wrongfully taught to identify with Africa. And Hispanics, you understand, do mostly through their oppression and the Catholic Church, want to identify with the Spaniards. You understand?
Good night.
Particularly because of the Catholic Church. And the vast majority of the northern tribe, I would say, are Catholics. Understand? And you understand, or they definitely Christians. You understand? And the overwhelming majority of Negroes, you understand, so-called blacks.
Right.
Which includes West Indians, the Afro-Americans, so-called, and the Haitian.
Okay.
You understand? They're Christians too. You understand? So we have a common history and a common enemy.
That's right.
But most important, we have a common language, a common heritage. Okay? We're going to get into that.
Right.
We have that in common, you know. And the Bible proves it. And I mean, we're wiping out everybody pertaining to it. Old vocab, Malone, I don't even think he's going to show up, man. I'm telling
Right.
you. Anyway, if I was him, the way he came with last night, I wouldn't even show up. Man, let me tell you. He was whining and running. That's all he did.
Come on, God.
So, Baba Kasha,
Come on, God.
let's get into a little history of the Lashawan Qadash,
Come on, God.
the holy tongue. You understand? And what we're going to do is we're going to just go to trace the language back to its origin. So now we know about Adam, right? So the Bible, and I'm going to show you how the Bible, focuses on one particular bloodline. I'm going to show you how they do it and how, it's very important that we understand this. You understand? Because that's the truth. And we're going to start off with, give me Genesis 6 and 10, Baba Kasha. We're going to start off here. So we go, we got Adam, and then we go from Adam to Noah, right? From Adam to Noah. You understand? So that's the bloodline that we're talking about to a certain point, from Adam to Noah.
Come on.
Yes. Adam before the flood, Noah after the flood. During and after the flood, Noah. The bloodline began to branch off from Noah through his 3 sons. Read, Baba Kashah.
Come on. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 10. And Noah begat 3 sons.
Noah begat 3 sons. He had 3 sons. Read.
Come on. Shem.
Shem, the oldest. Read.
Ham.
Ham.
And Japheth.
And Japheth. Now, to my understand, Japheth was the second oldest, and Ham was the youngest. Understand? That's important in a little way that we're going to bring out. You understand? So now, if we go from Adam to Noah, this is one language, right? Because it's the same family.
Right.
And then when we go with Noah, after the flood, it was only 8 people, 4 men. Noah, Shem, Japheth, Ham. They was one family, so obviously they spoke the same language. So they spoke one language, right? Right? So their children were speaking that same language, right? Go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. You understand? Because I'm just going to bring out a little something here that we want to understand. We're going to make the not only the spiritual connection, but the family connection.
That's right.
Understand? The historical genealogy connection. You understand? With the language that accompanied it. Okay? You understand? So with the people being connected, the language is connected as well.
That's right.
Read.
Book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 1. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
So they're reiterating the 3 sons because they're getting ready to go into their bloodlines, their genealogies, their offsprings. Read on.
And unto them were sons born after the flood.
So unto them sons were born after the flood. You understand? They started having children because they only, of course, they had daughters, of course, but they only mentioned the sons because the sons carry the seed.
That's right.
And we all know that, right? Sons carry the seed.
Damn right.
That's it on 1? Read verse 2.
Verse 2. The sons of Japheth.
Now, the sons of Japheth. Now, Shem is the firstborn.
Right.
But what they're going to do, and what we're going to show you, is that they give the genealogy of Japheth and Ham first for a very important reason. And we're going to show you that reason with the scriptures as we go on. Read on.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Havan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras.
So those are nations that came out of Japheth, right? Now, go to verse 6.
So
hold on just a second. From verse 2 through verse 6, they deal with Japheth's genealogy. And in verse 6, they begin Ham's genealogy. So they did the middle child and the younger child first. Read.
Book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan.
Now, those are the 4 nations that came directly out of Ham.
Right.
Now, the other so-called tribes or Hamite tribes, which today we call Africans, you understand, are subdivisions or tribes of these nations. You understand? But these 4 are the direct descendants that made up the nations, okay? And these are the people that we call Hamites. You got Japhites and you got Hamites, right?
That's right.
So they gave the genealogy of Japheth first, who's the middle child, and Ham second, which is the youngest child. And you would wonder, because we in the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana, we learn to start thinking, man.
Damn right.
When we read these scriptures, we should be thinking about stuff. All you got to do is tune into any class. And you'll see brothers coming up with questions because, they read and think. What is this? What does this mean?
Most High in Christ.
Understand? So why is it that Shem is the oldest, but they doing his genealogy last?
Right.
Well, let's find out. Go to verse 21, Baba Kishar.
God. The book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber.
Now, here it is. Now, the first son of Shem that is mentioned, which is not really his son, is going to be his great-grandson, is Eber. Right? We're going to deal with that word in a minute. Okay? But here he's saying, read it again.
Book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder.
You understand? Shem is the eldest. You understand? So what he did was, and I'm going to show you. He did the middle child, and then he did the younger child because they mattered less. The bloodline now continues. The emphasis on this bloodline from this point on is from Shem. And he already mentioned Eber, even though scripturally, Eber is not historically, Eber is not born for another 2 generations. Well, that's important. We're going to understand why. Because this is a language. Not only are they tracing the genealogy of these people, but this also shows you that the language is passed on. The language is called Hebrew.
That's right.
We're not going to go into it right now. We're going to wait to a certain particular point before we bring that out. The language is called Hebrew, right? Right? Right.
That's right.
So now they mention his brother named Eber. As soon as they say Shem, they say the father of all the children of Eber, meaning the father of all the Hebrews.
Right.
You understand? And it's going to get, more concise and more direct as we go along. Now, remember, these men are the children of their fathers, of course. And so they have the language of their father. You understand? Okay? You finished 21?
This is a little bit more.
Yeah, just finish 21 and go to 25.
Come. Even to him were children born.
Even to him were children born. Eber. They focus on Eber, but now check this out. Now, Eber was not a direct son of Shem, as I said.
Right.
But he's mentioned here prominently in the Shemitic bloodline because the Bible follows one, you hear us saying this all the time, and all we're doing tonight is proving it. The Bible follows one particular bloodline. It's specific and definite. Okay? So now, let's get it. Read 25.
Come. Book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 25. And unto Eber were born 2 sons.
Now, Eber, you see what I'm saying? Now, between verse 21 and verse 25, there's other children being born. There's a couple of generations between Shem and Eber.
Right.
Eber is actually his great-grandson. I think it's 3 generations between them in the scripture. But Eber is mentioned prominently like if he was the firstborn son, because we're following a particular bloodline. This is why this is done.
Right.
This is the understanding that we learn in the Isupk under Commander General Yohana, the generals, the captains, and the officers above us.
That's right.
This is what we learn, and we learn how to prove it. And that's what we're doing right now. Read on.
Come. The name of one was Peleg.
He had 2 sons, and the name of one was Peleg. Read on.
Come. For in his days was the earth divided.
In his day was the earth divided. You understand? Meaning that people are starting to spread out all over the earth.
Right.
And take up lands. You understand? Because the Most High wanted everybody to be separate in their own land.
Damn right.
You understand? The Lord loves diversity, but he only loves one people, one ruling class.
That's right.
Read on.
And his brother's name was Joktan.
Now, Joktan Joktan was his brother. Peleg and Joktan. You understand? So Eber had two sons, right? Joktan and Peleg. So now what that tells you, we're now following the bloodline of Eber. You understand? We did from Adam to Noah, Noah to Shem, Shem to Eber. You understand? This is what we're dealing with. And along with these bloodlines being established, the same language. We got anything? Hey, let me shout out Trooper Akashkar. Listen, we don't have the link to send you, brother. Officer Thabawan is out of town, but we know that you're in the class. And if you got any questions or anything, if anybody has any questions, just type it in the chat.
That's right.
And anybody else in the chat?
Just
okay. So we appreciate you tuning in. You understand? And these classes are very important because the main problem with Israel is that they've been without the true God and the teaching prophet and the law. You understand? And what we do is we reconnect you to those things historically, biblically. You understand? In the truth. And then you learn who you are. And then you can stand up and be a man in the earth the way the Most High intended us to be.
Come.
You understand? That's what this is all about. That's it on 25?
Come.
Okay, so now let's go to verse 31.
Come. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 31. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nation. So
he's telling you that these are the sons of Shem. We've been going through Shem's genealogy, but we branched off into Eber's genealogy. That's what it's telling you.
That's right.
Okay. So now let's go to Genesis 11 and 1. Now, in between chapters 10 and 11, these are all the nations of the earth being born. That's exactly what's going on here. Because later on, when you see the nations mentioned, even in the book of Revelation and other books, in Daniel and other books, these nations are called by the names of these men in Genesis.
That's right.
The Chinese man is not called Chinese man. He's called Moab.
That's right.
You understand? Because those are the names that they were given at their birth. Every nation is called after their father, of course. Okay? You understand that? Read on.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language.
See that? So now, Eber is born. Eber is born. All the nations are born. And the whole earth is of one language.
That's right.
One language. I wonder what that language could have been.
Right.
I wonder what that language was. It was, the whole earth was of one language, one speech. Right? Read it again.
Come. Book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
And of one speech. Everybody spoke the same language because they all came from one family.
That's right.
You understand? The earth now is, what does it say? You got to take notice of what the scriptures are saying. In his day, the earth was divided, meaning that people are starting to spread out. So, but before they spread out, they all were one people in language. They all spoke because they came from the same family. Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they all spoke the same language. They all spoke the same language up until the time of the Tower of Babel.
That's right.
But one family continued the same language. And that language is named after a man. You understand? And we're going to prove it as we go along. Go to verse 14, Baba Kasha.
Oh, God. The book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 14. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber.
Now, here's the birth of Eber being emphasized again because, as I said, Eber is not a direct son. He's a great grandson of Shem. I believe it's 4 generations. You understand? But he's prominent because our language is named after him, which is we're gonna prove it.
That's right.
We're gonna prove it, okay? Now, finish. What's that?
That was 14, sir. 11 and 14. Come.
So now we're gonna get to the gist, and then we're gonna make our comparison to prove our point, okay? Let's go to 14, Genesis 14 and 13.
Come.
You understand? Because now we see that this man Eber, well, you don't hardly ever hear nobody talk about him.
Right.
I never heard anybody say the word Eber before in my life till I came to the Isupk.
That's right.
I never seen, if I did hear it, I don't remember. I've never seen anybody emphasize this man, you understand, before I came to the truth. But when we read the Bible, you see that he is very prominent in this Bible.
That's
and we're
right.
going to take it to another level right now. In the book of Genesis, chapter 14 and verse 13. Read.
Come. The book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew.
Abram the what?
Abram the Hebrew.
Abram the what?
Abram the Hebrew.
Abram the Hebrew. Abram, of course, is Abraham. You understand? Abram is Abraham. See? So now we went, and I'm going to prove what I'm going to say in just a second. We're going to get it right out the Bible. We got Noah. We got Shem. No, we got Adam. We got Noah. We got Shem. We got Eber. Now we got Abraham. Same language. You understand? Same language. Now we're in chapter 14. The Tower of Babel already happened now. But yet Abraham is still called what? What did they call Abram?
It's like it, sir. Abram the Hebrew.
The Hebrew. Now, what I want you to do, my brother,
Okay.
let me get my phone out. I want you to go to Genesis 10 and 21, and if you can, and on the blue letter, because we want to get the Hebrew. Salakia. We're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 21, and the blue letter Bible. The brother's going to read that. And I'm going to read Genesis 14 and 13. And we're going to explain to you why we read these scriptures, because this is going to prove a very important point here. Remember, in Genesis, which I'm going to read, but he's going to read 10 and 1 first. You're going to read it in the Hebrew, Baba Kashah. No,
10 and 21 or 10 and
10 and 21.
Got it. I got you.
I want you to read it in the English first.
Come. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born.
Now, Eber, right? Now, Baba Kashah, I want you to read it in the Hebrew, Baba Kashah, if you could.
Come. The book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 21 in the Hebrew. Walashem, Yalad, Gama, Hawa, Abaya, Kala, with Kal, it's like it. Kal, Banaya, Iber.
I what?
Iber.
Iber. So Eber, if you go to the blue letter and you look it up and you go to forward, you'll see that the word for Eber is Ibar in the Hebrew, right? So the word for Eber is Ibar in the Hebrew, right? And Abram in 14 and 13, which I'm going to about to read, Abraham is called the Hebrew. You understand? Which I'm going to read it now. I'm going to read it in English, and then I'm going to read it in the Hebrew.
This is 14, 13, sir?
You finished reading that, right?
Yeah, come.
This is like I didn't finish. We don't need to be, we got what we needed. Ibar is the Hebrew word for Eber,
That's right.
Ibar, right? How do you spell it in the Hebrew there?
Karawakan. I. Ba. Ra. Ibar.
I. Ibar.
Karawakan.
Right? That's Genesis 10 and
10.
21, right?
Karawakan. Sir.
Genesis 10 and 21. Ibar. You understand? Now I'm going to read you Genesis 14 and 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew. Now, all I need to read is that part in the English, and I'm going to read that same part in the Hebrew, right? And it says, Wayaba'ah hapaliyat, Wayagad, la Allah wa'ah baram, which is Abram.
Karawakan.
And it says, Wa Ibaria. Ha Ibaria. Ha Ibaria. Ha Ibaria, which simply means Hebrew.
Karawakan.
Hebrew. The Hebrew. Abram, the Hebrew. The same word that is used for Eber here is used for Hebrew. Eber, Hebrew is the same thing. It's the same man. It's the same language.
That's right.
Before the flood, during the flood, after the flood, to Abraham, you understand? To Isaac, to Jacob. Hebrew. There it is. You understand? Ha Ibar. Ibar. This is Genesis 10 and 21. Ibar, Eber. Genesis 14 and 13. Ha Ibaria. Abram, the Hebrew.
Most High Christ.
Now, I don't know how much proof you need beyond that,
Right.
but the language is called Hebrew.
That's right.
And what we just showed you is that this language continued from Adam to Noah, from Noah to Shem, from Shem to Eber, from Eber to Abraham, from Abraham to Jacob, from Abraham to Isaac, from Isaac to Jacob in the 12 tribes. This is our language, the oldest written language
Damn right.
on the face of the earth. These other languages, when Most High at the Tower of Babel, when the Most High confused the language, that's why Babel was called Babylon. When the Most High confused the language, that's when the other nations had their own language. Remember, they began to spread out.
That's right.
The earth was divided, and the Most High came down because of what went down in Babylon when they tried to build the tower to challenge the Most High. The Most High didn't say, okay, I got something for you. You understand? And he confused their language. But as we see, Abraham, who was born way after the time of the Tower of Babel, was called the Hebrew, Eber, because he continued the language of Eber, which was the language of Shem, which was the language of Noah, which was the language of Adam. And in that case, you understand, unless you have any questions or you want to challenge this, you have the right and the opportunity to do so right now. You can do so in the chat. But if you wrote down these scriptures, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Ibar is Eber. Hebrew is Ibar. Abram is an Hebrew. The first time the word Hebrew is pronounced in the Bible is pertaining to Abraham. Why didn't they call Eber Hebrew? Why didn't they use Eber? Why didn't they say his name was Hebrew? You understand? Right. Because they were using the direct translation. You understand? But when it came to Abraham, they were using the language that was a little bit, what we could say, modified. But it's the same word. In the Hebrew, Eber in Hebrew is the same word. There it is right there. If you take the ha and the ya, it's Eber. The ha meaning the Hebrew. The Hebrew. You understand? And you know the ya at the end of the word is a possessive, right? Of Ibar. You understand? You understand? So this is the language that we learn here in the Lashawan Qadash. This is the language that we learn. This is the language that we learn to love. You understand? This is our language. Right. You understand? It belongs to us. That's why you see these so-called Jewish people speaking this broken, made-up, Yiddish, connected, discombobulated, verb-added form of a bastardized Hebrew and have the nerve to call it Hebrew. Yikes. It's cocky doo-doo-doo.
That's right.
That's what it is, compared to what we have as the Lashawan Qadash, the purest form of the language, the pure language spoken of in, Zephaniah 3:9. I will return the people a pure language. Because it was pure from the gate, man.
Damn right.
You know, and in certain contexts, pure and holy are synonymous, if you understand what I mean. You know, I brought this out because it's important. Like on Wednesday, I taught the genealogy, you understand, of the Israelites, you know, and I traced them back. And along with that, it gave me the idea, you know, linguistically, you understand, there's no difference between us and those people. You understand? Right. But we've lost that language because we've been absorbed into all of these evil cultures. You understand, who wants to destroy us. And remember, the goal of the heathen is that the name of Israel will be no more in remembrance.
Right.
That's what they want to do. But, you know, they don't really believe in the Most High. They don't believe in the God of the Bible, because if they did, they would know what the Most High said. That he's going to return us to pure language. You can find that, like I said, in Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. And also that he will redeem us, and that Christ only came for us. And we understand that, and we stand on it, because that's spoken of in truth in the Bible. You understand? And so this is why we want to emphasize our language. It belongs to us. The Bible is our records. It belongs to us. You understand? And we belong to the Most High in Christ.
That's right.
We belong to him and his son. You understand? Our King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew. Not Jesus Christ, Yeshua. Velcab Malone called the Most High Yahweh.
Gross.
He said Yahweh. Captain Zariak said, yeah, I know why you say it. We understand why you say it. Because you're taught lies just like everybody else in the earth. And that if you're not taught in the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana, you're not being taught the truth, man.
That's right.
We prove what we say with these scriptures, man. And we invite any, whether it be our people or anybody else, we invite you to disprove anything that we said with the scriptures. Show us where we're wrong. You can't do it because we're not.
Right.
They're absolutely right. And you know, this might seem like a minor thing to some. You understand? Because, oh, it don't matter what language you speak. Really? What language did Christ speak?
Right.
Christ spoke to the angels, right?
That's right.
Give me 1 Corinthians 13:1.
Oh, God.
Spike Christ spoke to the angels. Moses spoke to the angels. You understand? Samuel and Israelites spoke to the angels. You understand? Jeremiah, Hosea, who was of the northern kingdom, spoke to the angels. They were all Hebrews.
That's right.
So what language do you think they were speaking? You understand? You see in the New Testament where there's instances where we spoke our own language. It tells you that right there in the New Testament. And he spoke in his own language, meaning Hebrew. When Christ was on the cross and he called on his Father, they keep trying to tell you he spoke in, what's that language? It's almost like Hebrew. I can't think of the name of the word. But it's like a branch, Aramaic, not Arabic, not Arabic, but Aramaic. They keep trying to say that he spoke. No, he spoke Hebrew.
That's right.
We're going to prove it because we're going to prove to you that Paul, who Christ spoke to him on the road to Damascus, right?
Come on.
So what does Paul say about all this? Let's read it. Let's see what Paul had to say about it.
Come on. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 1. Though I speak with the tongues of men.
Though I speak with the tongues of men. And we, in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we understand that that simply means, though I speak other languages.
Come on.
You understand? The language of different men, different countries. That's what Paul is telling you in this verse. Though I speak with the tongues of men. Because as we know, Paul was very educated. And he knew he went from country to country. He was a bounty hunter. And he went from place to place chasing down them Israels that were following Christ. And Christ checked them. Saul, Saul, he never called him Paul. Christ never once in the Bible called Paul Paul. Every time he spoke to him in Hebrew because his name in Hebrew is Saul, the first king of Israel from the tribe of Benjamin, before David. You understand? Saul, Christ called him. Read it yourself. Christ didn't say Paul, Paul. No, because Christ spoke Hebrew, as do the angels. Read on.
Come on, God. And of angels.
And of angels. Though I speak the tongues of men and of angels. And of angels. That means he speaks the tongue of angels.
That's right.
You understand? Give me
come on, God.
Psalm 147, 19 and 20. Let's get a little bit more proof here. For those of y'all who need a little bit more evidence. You understand? Paul spoke Hebrew because he was an Hebrew.
That's right.
And the Romans had not totally eradicated our language. Our language lasted for over 300 more years after Christ before it disappeared as a functional language. And then these so-called converts who call themselves Jews and are not,
that's right,
resurrected a form of Hebrew in the pronunciation that fits their grammatical patterns, including the uses of verbs, not verbs, A-E-I-O-U.
Vowels in there.
Vowels. They put vowels in the language. There's no vowels in the pure language, in the language of the Lashawan Qadash. There's no vowels at all. You understand? You got that?
Come on.
Read.
Come on. The book of Psalms, Psalm 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
He showed his word to Jacob, man. Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes.
That's right.
He showed his word unto Jacob. That's who he communicated with. You understand? Read on.
Come on. Verse 20.
Read the second part of verse 19 again.
Come on, sir. his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
He gave his law, statutes, and his judgment. He only communicated with Israel, and he gave them his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what it says.
Damn right.
Read on.
Come. Verse 20. He have not dealt so with any nation.
He hasn't communicated with any other nation, man. So, if an angel, we speak English here in America.
Okay.
So if an angel came down to speak to Commander General Yohana, what language you think he'd talk to Commander General Yohana in? In English.
Right.
Because that's the language that Commander General Yohana speaks. If he came to Captain Ash, he might speak to Captain Ash in Spanish.
Come.
You understand? But the point is that he only communicated, meaning that he only sent messengers to Israelites.
Right.
All the prophets of the Bible are Israelites, from Moses to Christ. He only communicated with Israelites. Therefore, he spoke to them in the language that he would understand. Because in the book of 1 Corinthians, it says if a person speaks to you in another language, he's not doing his job because nobody understands what the hell he's saying. I'm paraphrasing, of course. That's in 1 Corinthians 14. Understand? That's when I was having a battle with my sister. It wasn't really a battle. My sister and she keeps calling because the people in our church keep telling her she needs to learn how to speak in tongues or she won't be saved. Yeah, and I'd be telling her, tell my sister, man, let them people go, man. It's not talking about when it says that you speak in different tongues of different languages, man. It's not haskala baskala pupule papara. Man, I saw this one cat. I woke up early in the morning about 2 months ago, man, about 2 months ago. And it was this white pastor, man. And he was speaking, and he was supposed to be speaking in tongues. Brother, I promise you, brothers and sisters, if I could play that tape, y'all would fall out laughing. You should have, man, I almost rolled out of my bed. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Man, you should have seen it. Man, and he was an Edomite, had no rhythm or nothing. He's speaking in tongues. And there's not a damn person alive, even the Most High, didn't know what the hell he was saying. He was talking to the Lord. Understand? Go. When we say the Israelite schools of practical knowledge, that's exactly what we mean, man. Practical means knowledge that you can use in your life. Stop being a simple-minded person, man. The Most High didn't give us that spirit, man. We decided to be stupid by following these other nations. I'm not ashamed to say it. We decided to be dumbed down by following after these other nations, man.
Right.
And calling ourselves Christian. You understand? We are Yasha Allah. You understand? You understand? The Prince of the Power. That's who I am.
Right.
I ain't know nothing else. Never, ever would I ever be called anything else. Yasha Allah is our name.
That's right.
And in the book of Genesis, chapter 32 and verse 28, it tells you that the name means Prince of the Power.
Damn right.
You understand? The children of God, man. Would you want to be a Christian? Christian on, my brother. Be on, like the scripture says, if you want to be wicked, stay wicked. If you want to be righteous, stay righteous. God's righteousness is following his law, man.
That's right.
His law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. I think we've proved our point. You understand? And I appreciate everybody bearing with me. Let me see if we got anything in there. Okay, most on and crack. We just got Brother Akash card. We're going to erase this, and what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the pictographs because, let me get a good eraser. Because just like we have a genealogy origin in a language origin, we have an origin of the alphabet itself.
Yeah, word. I don't know if there's anything better.
Ain't nothing better. Oh, you're looking so pretty. I saw this cowboy movie. Yeah. Like, no, I'm still drinking that. What's it, Perrier? It's still a little cool. I got it. So now, the origin of our language, right, is verbal. But then we got to the point where, you know, we had to learn how to write it down and express it in a written form, the art of writing. You understand? So, what the pictographs are is also proof of the connection between our culture and our language. And we're going to demonstrate it. Just give me a second here. I'm going to put everything up on the board, and then we're going to, I want y'all to help me out as far as, I have all the answers, of course, but I'm just saying, I want y'all to participate if you can in the chat, whatever, and give me some answers, help me out in this class right here. Okay, so we're going to put up the pictograph. A pictograph is like a picture alphabet. It's like an alphabet derived from an image or a picture of something. That's a pictograph, okay? Or pictogram, whichever one. Just give me a second here.
Oh, go.
ancient alphabet. The original, well, I wouldn't say original. It's the most prominent and oldest known form of people. It was developed from picture or image. It's the oldest form. It developed from pictures or images.
Right.
They didn't have pictures back then, so we'll say images, right? So each one of these letters had an image or a meaning to it because we're a meaningful people, and everything that we have and everything that we do has a meaning. That's the culture that the Most High gave us, okay? So now, what I need your help with is y'all going to tell me what the pictographical image or what is the name of these letters? What does the ah represent? Go ahead.
Oh, so like, sir, is this supposed to be the like a head?
La.
Oh, a mouth, sir?
The ah represents. Let me see if we got an answer in the chat.
Go.
Nobody in the chat? Nope. Okay. Is a cow.
Go.
If you turn it right side up, you'll see the two horns and the ears. It's a cow. A lop. A lop.
Go.
What I'm going to do, okay. The cow.
Go.
A lop is the cow. And what does that represent? If you know Israelite culture, it'll be easy for you. I didn't know. But in Israel, go ahead.
It's like, sir, currency?
Yes.
That's not correct.
Power. That's the word alawap, Yahana.
Go.
Alawap comes from this word, alap. You understand? Meaning person in charge or person of prominence. Because in our culture, we were shepherds, of course. That's why the Egyptians hated us. And so our wealth was determined by how much cattle we had.
Right.
For the most part. Of course, we had craftsmen and we had priests, craftsmen, and everybody wasn't a damn shepherd, but the majority of us were. So the cow, a lop, was the ah. You understand? Now, the ba is very cultural in its origin. It represents, I'm looking at the wrong page. I should have wrote the name of these down, but I'm just going to give the image. Oh, because I didn't do it right. I didn't need to do this. But anyway, you live and learn. Anyway,
Go.
the bath is house. Oh, let me make sure I'm right now. Yeah.
Go.
The ba is house, but it really was tent. Tent. Because we didn't live in houses. We were shepherds and we didn't live in houses. We lived in tents. Most of us live in tent. The first tabernacle that we made unto God was a huge tent that we built for the Most High. You know, we read about it in the Sabbath service. That's why we just got through reading about it in the Sabbath service over the last couple of weeks. You know, it was not a building, it was a large tent, and the Most High gave the dimensions, it told you what materials, what colors, everything. Because when the Most High said this is a culture that he gave you, he meant that. That's the truth. So it meant tent, because what it was, you see the house here, like a triangle, and then the pegs underneath, you understand, the pegs underneath to secure the tent. Even unto this day, they still use them when you put up a tent. Then we got the Gah or the Gamel, which simply represented because we were shepherds and we needed some animals to carry the weight. So they used the camel. They used the camel to carry the stuff between setting up the tents, man, because we were shepherds. Before we got the land of Israel, all we did was move around. Where did Abraham move around? He took all of his cattle into Egypt and he came out mad rich. You know what I'm saying? So it's cultural. Go ahead.
So like, sir, that shape is supposed to be what, the camel's hump?
Yes.
Of God?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Camel.
You understand? Gamel. Camel. You understand? The Da. What does that look like to you?
It's like, is there a door?
That's it. Because the door of the tent was shaped like Da.
What's the word, sir? Like
the lots.
The lots.
Okay, let me give them to you because I should have wrote them down. I should have made more room and wrote them down. I didn't have to put the Abba God. We already knew what those were. But, you know, that's for the people that might not have been watching. For the new people, okay. The Alap, Bayath for the Ba. Gamal for the Ga, and the Lath for the door. Now the Ha is the Hana, which simply means to behold. Hana.
Oh, so like, sir, it's not like a shape. I mean, like, it's just to behold. Like, it's not like, you know, a door, a camel. It's a thing.
No. It's just to behold. Because remember, all of these things are cultural. You understand? The Ha is the. You understand? In the language itself. Behold the door. Behold the sky. Behold the ground. Behold the mountains. The Wa is called the Wow. And what do you think that represents?
A fork, sir?
You're almost there. It actually is the fish hook.
Ah, well, sorry.
The Wa is the fish hook. It's W-A-W. Wow. In a transliteration. Fish hook. Salaki, I know it's not looking clear. Just trying to do the best I can. I could have formulated it a little bit better and gave myself more room. But we're going to get it done. Abagadahawa. You understand? The Za.
So, like, is there a path?
The Za represents a weapon. Zion.
Oh.
It's called the Zion. The word Zion means weapon. Weapon. The Za. Understand? Because back then, of course, we would make weapons by hand. You understand? And they would make, you ever see those old movies with those funny looking swords and stuff? And, they would take, farming instruments and make them into weapons. So Zion, which is our nickname, Zion means weapon. Okay. Now, this one should be pretty easy right here. This is the cha or
A ladder, sir.
kawama. Kawama, which is what?
It's like, is there a ladder?
Close, not quite. It is actually a fence. You have to fence in them cattle. Excuse my terrible handwriting.
It's like, sir, you said kama?
It's ka, the cha, wa, ma. Kawama, with an H at the end, okay?
Cool.
Now, I'm trying to relate all of these to the culture because they all come from our culture and they are related to our culture. You understand? And this would be what became known as the Lashawan Qadash. Now we have here the ta, which represents what? We had to carry our stuff in something.
It's like, is there a bag? Well, not a bag, but
Basket.
basket. Come.
You look down into a basket and you'll see that. Because they were woven by hand. So that's the bottom of the basket. That's the ta, or the taha. What is it?
Taha?
It's the kana'a. Kana'a. The ya. This is a pretty easy one. For those of us that know, simply means hand. The yad. The word is the yad.
That's supposed to be the way it looks to the representative.
I don't think. I don't think you understand. Because the next one is similar to it.
Oh,
And it's more basic to understand this.
so like you said, the ya. There's no other way to say it. What's the
The word is the water.
Come.
The yad
Yad. Come. Yad.
Yad. is the hand. You understand?
Come on.
It was the hand. It is the hand. And the ka, which is, let me get that word right. It's simply the ka'a, with K-A-A, which simply is the palm of a hand.
Oh.
You know, like you open your hand, you see the V line in there. So you got the hand and you got the V line. You understand? Ka. You understand? That's the palm of the hand, and it's known as the ka. Now we got the la, which simply means to learn, and the lama, lama'ad, which is to learn. Okay. Then now we got my favorite here, which is the ma. The ma. Look at that ma.
It's like you said, there's a mouth.
Mayan. What is my?
It's like it's water, sir.
Water. You understand? You see how all of these things are related to the culture? You understand? You need that cow, you need that tent, you need that cow, you need that camel, you need that basket, you need that fish hook too. You need that weapon, you need that fence. All these things are a part of our culture. This is why we use them. Okay? So now we have the na. And the word for the na is nawan, which is a sprout. You know, some of us were farmers. And flower would sprout up. That's the na, the nawan. That's the nawan. Now, this one here, got that sprout.
Mhm.
Salakia. This is the sa. The sa actually represents a banner, like a flag, almost like a banner.
Cool.
This is how they would carry, like, this is how they didn't have flags like we have today, they would have banners. That would hold up the banner.
The word bears. Okay.
What it signifies actually is to establish.
To
Establish. Who you are. Establish. That banner. Establish who you are. Okay.
Okay. How do you say that, sir?
And the word for it is the samak. 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 Okay, let me see if we got anything. We don't have anything here. Now we're broadcasting over in East Carolina too. The East Carolina camp.
Yeah, I saw it. Check
Okay. To establish. To establish. You understand? So now that takes us to the I. I wonder what that means. It's the ayan, which literally means the eye. Now, the ayan, the eye. And we have the pa. Think of Donald Trump.
Like, is there a mouth?
There it is.
Okay, there it is.
Big mouth. The pa is a mouth. Open mouth.
It's like, you said ayan?
Hold on, let me get it.
Okay.
Ayan is for I. And the pa, I think it's simply pa. It's P-A-H. Yeah.
Okay.
P-A-H. Pa. Now, there it is. Pa. These pictographs were, related to our culture and turned into the output that expresses our culture.
Okay.
You understand? You got the tazah. The word for the tazah is the tazad. Tazad, which simply means the side. It represented the side.
It's like, so you said tazahid or
Tazad.
tazad.
T-A-Z-A-D.
Go. It's like, sir, I just thought in the way of, back in Hebrew Academy, tazahid. Tazahid.
Taza'id, man. Let me see if I can get the AC working, man. It's about 76 degrees in here. Yes.
That's all I understood.
Somebody moved it.
Oh, yes, like I did. It was left on when you came in.
No, brother.
We leave it on?
Leave it on. It's left on automatic always. Never turn it off. That's what causes the problem.
Oh.
You gotta leave it on.
I thought it was
No,
running off the bill or something.
It's left on. Don't touch it. When it's on auto, the brother told us that when it's on auto, don't leave it on auto. Okay. Leave it on auto. Okay. I knew it was getting hot in there for some reason. Yeah. When the brother repaired it, the AC, he told me, he said, listen, just leave it on auto. That the problem that we're having is with the switches. The switches are burning out because it's old as hell.
Yeah, it is.
So he said, just leave it on auto. And that's it. And oh, you didn't know. But what I understand is that keeping the bill down too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I thought it might have been keeping
No.
Okay, well, sound correct.
Just leave it on auto. We don't turn it off. Just leave it on auto. Because when it gets below a certain, it'll turn off.
Yeah.
And then when we come in here during the day, you notice when we came in here during the summer, it was cool in here. We never turned it off or on because once he fixed it, it just stays on auto all the time.
Yeah, I thought somebody said it wanted to turn it off. Yeah,
You might have heard that. You might have heard that.
But
what I reported to Officer Iraq and the captain, Captain Ninethought, was that we were to leave it on auto because that's what the brother Yosef told me. He said, just leave it on auto. And that's what we're going to do. Now, if you get an order from a higher ranking officer, you follow that order. That's all. You just follow that order. Okay, so now, where were we? We're at the Kwa. The Kwa is a letter that is named Kwawash, which is, of course, one of my favorites. This one, I never forget this one because it is a snare. It's a trap. Snare or trap. You know, have you ever seen them ancient mouse traps, right? It was this little bow thing, and then it was a arrow or something that shot into the whatever animal you had trapped in it. And it was similar to this in shape. So it's the Kwa is the snare. Understand? Because while we were shepherds with our cattle, you know, we might want to catch another kind of animal and eat it sometime, you know? You might want to catch a deer. You might want to catch some other kind of animal that's lawful to eat. So we would set traps. And maybe we didn't want to kill our sheep.
Right.
So we catch a deer or something, or a goat. You understand? With a snare. You understand? Now we have here the Ra. The Ra. The Ra. Ra. Ra is the word Ra'ash. Nah, y'all should know what that means. We should know what that means. It's in our prayers, right?
Not flat.
Head. The Ra'ash simply means the head. The leader, Ra'ash, the head. Even the body part, the head is Ra'ash.
Oh, God.
Ra'ash, the head. Which, of course, we being black people, so-called, you know, we use a lot of slang.
Damn right.
Slang, the Bible is made up of a whole heap of slang. That's a word y'all don't hear too often. Heap.
Yeah.
A whole heap. You know, I had a partner. He was from Darlington, South Carolina. His name was Ricky Lucky. That was his name. He's my man. You know, spent most of his life in prison.
Mm.
You know, he's a rough cat, and he used to always say, "Man, that's a heaper, whatever." That's where I got that word from. That's my man Ricky, man. I wish I could see him. Last time I seen him was like in about 2002, 2003. He had just got out of prison. He had a new son. And I met him, of course, on 125th Street. That was the last time I seen him. He's my man. I think he's back down south now with his family. You understand? He's the first person that I ran with that carried a pistol. He was the first one that I knew. Anyway, and we talking about in the 70s, y'all.
Yeah, I'm about to say, when y'all have pistols up there?
We had like it was 38s, 32s, you know. We didn't have no automatics, you know what I'm saying? A 45 was like glamorous.
Mm.
You know, in the 60s and the 70s, you had a little snub nose 38. I had a little 22. You know. Couldn't kill a cat with that. He just going,
to get angry.
nah, but the mob used to use them, man. But they used to walk up on you and shoot it in the back of your head because it's a small bullet and it rattles around in your brain and you'll be dead. But of course, I never shot anybody in my life. I did everything else, but I ain't do that.
Good night.
Now, we got the Shah. The Shah. What is the Shah?
It's like, sir, is that teeth?
There it is. But they look like some teeth. I kind of rounded them off. You know, they might be like my teeth, you know.
Oh, no.
But teeth.
That's teeth for sure.
You understand? The teeth. Because you needed them teeth. Everybody needs teeth. Every mammal has teeth. You understand? Every mammal has teeth.
It's like you said, would that be like sha'af?
The word is shun.
Shun.
Shun. S-H-A-N. Shun. Shun. These are the pictographs that became the Hebrew alphabet. And the way I tried to present it was that I tried to relate them to our culture because we were an agricultural farming shepherd people. Now, when not the Ishkarites, where it was 3 tribes, when they was given the coast of the Mediterranean, but before they got to the coast, they saw this beautiful farming land that was good for cattle, and they settled there.
It's like, sir, what is it? Manasseh, Gad, and
yes, that's it.
Who is it?
It might have been Reuben.
Khan. It was Reuben. Manasseh, Gad, and Reuben. Sir.
Instead of taking the land that the Most High appointed for them, they found this good grazing land and they stopped there. And later on, the land that they should have taken would become a very prosperous port land where trade was done. Because the Most High knew what he was doing, man. And if we had obeyed the Most High and took all those lands that he told us to take and obeyed the law, statutes, and commandments, guess what would be happening right now? We would be ruling the earth.
That's right.
We would be the #1 nation on the planet Earth, which we shall be in the future. You understand? When the return of Christ, you understand? You should have seen Captain. I love all the captains and the officers, man. But Captain Tazariak has a special place with me because the way he be mopping up the floor with these damn heathen, the way he did that African last week, and the way he did, what's his name? Vocab Malone. Man, Captain Tazariak is a warrior. He be slaying them. You understand? And I imagine like all the captains have that ability. You understand? When we go to camp, like nobody, when they come up against our captain, he knocks them down.
Damn right.
Scripturally. Like You know, the Israelite School of Practical Knowledge, man, that's an important name. It's an excellent name for our school because it's the truth. The Israelites is only for Israelites. School, it's a school of universal knowledge from every field based on the knowledge that we learn from the Most High God in the Bible, universal, practical. You understand? Practical, something that you can use.
Okay.
ISUPK, knowledge, practical knowledge. Like the ISUPK gives you, it gets you grounded and it gets you thinking in a certain kind of way. You understand? And you begin to learn how to discern things. And you can easily discern evil and good. You can easily discern evil and good in the UPK. You know, I can't watch TV with my rib because she said I'm too judgmental. That's what she told me. She said I'm too judgmental. You always saying this person, yeah, because these are
damn right.
Whatever, because that's what I see. Anyway, but I got to be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Because
it makes it tough. Sir.
Yeah, it makes it tough to enjoy. You know, and I understand that. Yeah. But that's how I am. But,
damn right.
She's wicked. He's wicked. It was this cat. He put his family out of the house, man. He put his wife and children out the house, man, and moved another woman and her children in the house, man.
So, like I said, if I may, were these his, like the one he moved in, were they his wife?
It didn't say. I don't think they were. They could have been. It didn't say that, but he moved the wife. The wife was living in a car, and the police, she was living in a parking lot. And the police came and asked her why she was there, and they was going to arrest her. And she said, my husband, for 5 years, we got two. She had a baby. She had a baby in the back of the car. Everything was clean. She was clean. And she told the officer, and it was a sister. And the husband, I believe, was a brother because the baby was quite dark. And she said that my husband put me out of the house. All I had was this car. She had a car. And he moved his new family in the house that they had together.
What did she do?
I don't care what she did, brother. You don't do that. I don't care what she did. You understand?
Come.
Now, if she committed adultery,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
you understand what I'm saying? If she committed adultery, then right on to the break of dawn. You understand? But other than that,
right.
I still wouldn't put my baby out like that, man. You know what I mean? I would help them get another place or something with a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come, baby.
I'm just saying, man. Anyway, let's get back to the lesson here. Let's do the time check. I think it's about 8:30. 8:35. We got about 25 more minutes. So, we got one more letter. We got the tha. The tha, which is the word Thor, THAW, which is the mark. You know what I saw the other day? It's funny. Mark. Like you put your mark.
Like an X.
Yeah, like all of the Native Indians, like they got this thing on the streaming channel. I think it was YouTube or one of them channels. They got the Custer's Last Stand. And one of the things that they show is this treaty that all the chiefs signed except for Crazy Horse and what was the Sitting Bull. All the other chiefs signed the treaty, selling the land to the oppressor. But all of them had the X, the Tha, as their mark.
Most High.
It's right on. When I go home, I will find it. It's right on the streaming channels. It's called the Custer's Last Stand, where they give the Indians perspective partially, because he's gonna do the narrative, but they do tell how the oppressor used that victory by the Native Indians as a way to help destroy the Native Indians. And Abraham Lincoln hanged 38 brothers, the largest mass hanging in the history of America. Under Abraham Lincoln, I think it was 1865. I think it was 1865. They hung It might have been in the 50s. Anyway,
Lincoln.
yeah, Lincoln did it. He was in 5.
They
And
love him so
they
much.
hung 38. I think it was Lakota brothers, the Lakota tribe, the Sioux. You understand? You can look it up. And they had made the treaty with the devils, and then they said that they discovered the land that they had signed the treaty over to the Indians, to the native Indians. They discovered it's called the Black Hills, which was the sacred burial place. They used to bury their people up there. And the oppressor said they discovered gold up there. So now they said, nah, man.
Right.
The Native Americans was picking it up out of the rivers. It was just a shiny rock to them. But you know what it is to the oppressor, boy. It's life and
Right.
death. And they had to have it, man. Instead of trading with the natives and having some kind of honor with them, they decided to rape, rob, and murder them and take every inch of their land. Every
Right.
inch. We call it the United States now. You understand? And we call it Mexico now. And we call it South America and Venezuela and Brazil. You understand? That's what we call it. All those nations, Peru, Guatemala. You understand? That's what all of those lands were stolen, raped, robbed, and murdered for.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And this is why the ISUPK is about telling the truth.
Damn right.
And I know sometimes I go off topic and bring up, topics and ideas because that's what's in my heart. And that's what I do. And that's what I do the best. You understand? This language, I love it. They all put their mark. All the tribes, all the chiefs or the kings of those tribes, but they only call them chiefs to belittle them, to make them a step below. Signed with the thigh or the X. Make your mark. And all of them did that. I'm serious. I saw the treaty. I saw the act. They show you the actual photograph of the treaty with their X is there. Their thighs there. So that's the thigh. Make your mark. But what they did to those Gadites, man, is shameful, man.
Damn right.
Shame shall cover thee. Your oppressor, shame is going to cover thee. When you are pronounced guilty of the crimes, you think you're going to get away with these crimes, but actually you're not. Go ahead, brother.
Slack, if I may. What you're bringing out is so damn heavy because, as much they try to bring logic to their argument of why they did what they did to take the land from our people like that. It's just disgusting. I mean, man, it's like
absolutely right. They do try to lie about it and change the narrative. But the most honest white man I ever seen, he said this: "I'm glad we took your land, man. You wasn't doing nothing with it except keeping every river and stream clean that you could drink from it. And that the food had no GMOs and it was plenty. You understand? No Native American ever starved until the oppressor came over here.
Right.
You ever see that picture, that mountain of buffalo heads? You ever seen it?
Come on, sir.
Man, I saw it the other day. As a matter of fact, they show it in this documentary on Custer's Last Stand. It was about 5-6 stories high. I'm not kidding. A man actually climbed to the top. In the picture, it's 50, 60 feet high buffalo heads. And you know what they say? Said they only kept the tongue to prove that they had killed the buffalo. They let the meat and stuff rot so that the Native Americans couldn't eat. And that was their diet, man. Primarily the Plains Indians, the Indians out west on the other side of the Mississippi. You understand? It was the buffalo, man. You understand? Even you ever see that movie what is it? With Kevin Costner. I can't think of the name of it right now. But he was in Living with the Indians.
Last movie.
No. Well, he he's out there by himself and he sees this herd of buffalo. And it takes a whole day and night for the herd of buffalo to pass. That's how many buffalo there were.
Damn.
And this is in the movie, but I heard a Native American say that sometimes it would take a whole week for the herd to pass through a land.
God damn.
And they would they didn't have, some of them didn't have horses. They would follow them. And then when they got a chance to take one, they would shoot with a bow and arrow or a spear and just took what they needed, man. They used it. They used the materials, the body material, the skin for tents, the coat for wool and coats. They had some fly coats, man. You ever see some of their coats and some of their boots? Oh my God. Yo. Trying to tell you. And now, oh man, they just, they got the new meat now. It's a mixture of buffalo and cow. What did they call it? It's a word for it, but I saw it. It's a beautiful animal, but it's a mixture. And they say it's a better quality of meat because buffalo meat is good meat. I heard it's better than beef. Yeah. And but you can't eat them because I think they're still endangered to a degree. And a good portion of them are mixed with cows anyway, because they had killed so many of them. I think in the 1920s, there were only like 20,000 buffalo left on the planet Earth when there was millions and millions of them.
Right.
Remember, in the 1920 census, you can look this up, they only counted 2 million Native Americans. In 1920, I'm not talking about now, 100 years ago, when they took the census, they only counted 2 million Native Americans. When they came over here, there were 75 to 77 million when the oppressor first came to the Western Hemisphere. And there's only 2 million left. Man, that's genocide, man, to the fifth power, man. So we have our Lashawan Qadash, our language, our history, our common struggle, our common enemy here in America. You understand? And this language is a link for all of us to come back to that which was lost. Even thou, even thyself shall discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee, and there you shall serve thine enemy in a land, I'm paraphrasing, in which you knew not. You didn't know this land. You didn't know nothing about 3-foot high snow.
Right.
And now we had winter in Israel. There's winter in Israel. But we only got snow up in the mountains and stuff. In the valleys and stuff, it was cold sometimes, but it's a moderate place, man, in other words. It's a moderate place. The Most High loves that place because that place was what we used to call the Garden of Eden, man. Meaning that it was plush for vegetation and growth and for animals to live and thrive. Okay? So we're done with the pictograms. And I apologize, the way that the format that I presented it to you was not fully correct because I was supposed to put, instead of the Abba-Ga-Da-Ha, I was supposed to put the name, like the Lath, the Yod, you understand? Which next time I will formulate correctly, okay? So now what we're going to do with the time that we have to remain, which should be about 20 minutes, right? About 15 minutes. Yeah.
You want white shirt?
We got a new one here. Make this one.
Okay.
what we're going to do for the last minute, 15 minutes, is we're just going to go over the what we're going to do for the last 15 minutes or so, we're going to do the prepositions and suffixes. So what we did tonight in recap was we went over the history and the historical connection between the language and the people from Abraham. Well, we really started Noah, Shem, Eber, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob.
Right.
And that the language was connected through all of these people from Eber. The language was even named after the brother Eber, which is the same word in the Bible in the Hebrew as Eber in Hebrew is the exact same word, Ibar. You understand? Hebrew. You understand? That's the transliteration. You understand? Ibaria. You understand? Those are Hebrews.
Right.
That's Hebrew for Hebrew. What is a preposition? What is it? Baba Kashah, if you could. Get the definition of the word preposition.
It's the Oxford Dictionary definition. Preposition, a word governing and usually preceding a noun or pronoun and expressing a relation to another word or element in the clause, as in the man on the platform, she arrived after dinner, or what did you do it for?
You understand? It's something that goes before a word that relates the word to something else.
Come.
You understand? That's a preposition. A preposition. You understand? Or a prefix, in other words. It's a descriptive word at the beginning. It's a prescriptive portion of a word at the beginning of the word.
Come.
Okay, so we're going to get into some prepositions for the next few minutes. And we're going to start out with, of course, we have the ah. The ah, I, or I am. You understand? Anya. Then we have the ba. The ba, which is in or on. That's the ba, right? And then we have the da, which simply means, before the word, it means to do something.
Come.
Do. Understand? Mm-hmm. Ba orataza. In the earth.
In the earth. Come.
In the land.
In the land. Right.
Ba. Yashalam. Yarashalam. In Jerusalem.
Yash. Oh, Slack, I didn't know Jerusalem is what? Yashalam?
Yarashalam. See that? There's my name.
Right.
Yarashalam. There was no gay up until 400 years ago. Jerusalem is Yarashalam. Understand? Do. The da in front of a word means do.
It sounds like two.
A function. Then we have the ha. Which simply means the. The ha Ibaria. We just saw it. We just had it on the board. The Hebrews.
Okay.
You understand? And then we have the wa. Which means and. Waya Amar. And he said, Waya, wa, and he, Waya, he said, Amar. And he said, understand? So wa simply in front of a word means and. Go ahead.
So like, sir, if I could, just it's kind of off topic, but in topic. The Assyrian Hebrew, we came up with that, right?
Yes. But okay. It's kind of a mixture thing, like because we're in captivity
Right.
when we developed it.
Come,
You understand? Like, okay, you know, Israel, you know, like we love taking on things from the heathen, you know.
Right.
So we developed it or we accepted it as ours. And the proof of that is that it's 22 letters and it has the exact same sounds to them. If you put this is ancient, this is Assyrian.
Right.
Do they sound any different?
La.
So you know we had our hands in it.
Right. Okay, so
understand?
like, sir, what you're saying is what we did was we took what the heathen made and just put it our own spin on it.
Kind of say that, but it's more like you were influenced by the heathen.
Oh, that in that case we were influenced.
Yeah, we were influenced by the heathen. You understand? And it changed. That's why they call it the Assyrian, because this form was developed during the Assyrian captivity.
Okay.
You understand? I need to get more history on the actual development of it.
Yeah, come on. I won't lie. I kind of like this. I don't know why.
The reason why people like the Assyrian is because it's more in use, and you become used to it. And see, this is a perfect example of it. What you just said is a perfect example of how we adopted it, because it was convenient.
I don't know. I mean,
I personally like the Lashawan Qadash.
you like the ancient.
Yeah.
I don't know why,
And-
sir. I just like the ancient. I like the Assyrian for some reason. It just-
Okay. Everybody likes,
Is
you know,
that
what they
weird?
like.
Is that weird?
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, brother.
So
There's
like
nothing
I
wrong
said,
with that.
my
Me
bad.
personally, I love the Lashawan Qadash. I love the original because it has the connectors and
Come.
it's original. It's ours. Where the Assyrian is named after another people, even though it's our language.
Come.
You know, so that's why I kind of favor Lashawan Qadash.
It, if I could select it, sir, but it just looks really pictogrammy. Like it looks like the way the Egyptians did their language for some reason. For me,
What you mean,
that-
the Assyrian?
no, the ancient. The ancient looks very pictogrammy.
That's what it is.
Well, slack it, sir, if I may. It looks very much like what the Hamites used, the Egyptians used.
In the hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics, yes. It looks very hieroglyphic-y. And then I don't know. I
But-
can't feel it.
Okay, you know, with the way you look at it, there's nothing wrong. But what we proved today is what that is older than the hieroglyphics.
So they took that from us.
Well, maybe they adapted the writing form of pictures, and they used birds and beetles and stuff that was around their land,
Okay,
You understand? So it could be that, but I'm not an expert on that, so I can't speak on it. I can't say that they got it from us. You understand what I'm saying? But what science and history has proven, and which the Bible backs up, is that the cradle of civilization was not Egypt, but it was actually Mesopotamia, where Abraham's people lived. And we proved that a couple of weeks ago. You understand? And it's always been a battle. I remember when I was in the conscious community, it was always a battle over who was first.
Right.
The Egyptians or the Assyrian or the Mesopotamian people, and the proof in this, there's a archaeological find called the Gobekli Koleki something. It's in Mesopotamia, and it's older than the pyramids. It's like 15,000 years old, they say, and it's supposed to be like the world's oldest temple. And it's not a temple to the true God, but it's in Mesopotamia, and it's older than 10,000 years older than the pyramids. You understand? So I'm pretty sure that Mesopotamia, where we originated, when we dealing with Abraham. Remember, when the ark landed, it landed in Ararat, which is a mountain range in Turkey. You understand? Yeah.
I know this. It's like.
And so when they came down, they went down into what they call the Fertile Crescent. You understand? And from there, they developed civilization again, because there was civilization before the flood. So right. some of the civilizations that they're digging up now are pre-flood. You understand? Before the flood. You understand? Because to be honest, nobody really knows, what I'm saying, exactly how long man's been on the earth. You understand?
It's amazing.
They say from Adam to now, they calculated like 6,000 years.
That's it?
Because Adam was not the first man. This is what we keep teaching you. This is what we keep teaching people. Adam was not the first man on the planet. It was already cities and families and tribes.
Damn right.
Cain got him a wife. He left from among his people. What, he took his sister with him? Don't foolish, man. Did Adam not receive the law? Was Cain punished for breaking the law when he offered, not just for the murder, but when he made his offering to the Most High? It was unlawful, man. So he had law. He was disobedient. Abel's offering was lawful. It was the fatlings and the cows. And Cain offered vegetables, which he ain't had nothing to do with growing. They grew right out of the earth. You understand?
Yeah, come.
And we being shepherds. Salaki, I'm sitting here. We being shepherds.
You're killing it, though. So yeah, I love it.
You understand? We being shepherds, the cattle and stuff was more valuable to us, man.
Damn right.
That's why we were asked to sacrifice it.
Yes.
But Cain, he said, man, I'm just going to take some of these grapes and some fruits, man, and all. Yeah, Lord. You know what I'm saying? This is my son. Lord said, nah. And the Lord told him, yo, if you do well, you know what I'm saying, is, you get the blessing, man. But if you don't, sin waiting for you at the door, man.
Come.
Yeah, that's what he told him. And he killed his brother, man. Understand? So civilization is older than Adam, man.
Damn right.
Don't think for a minute that Adam, if you believe that Adam was the first man on the earth, brother, you don't know how to read the Bible.
That's right.
It tells you that he created male and female. He created them on the 6th day. And then on the 7th day, or the 7th period of time, he made Adam, meaning he blew the breath of life, which we know is the law, statutes, and commandments, into Adam. Male and female was already created. You can read it right there in the Bible. And the 6th day, he says, male and female, he created them on the 6th day. On the 7th day, he gave Adam the law, or he blew the breath of life, which we know as we read the scriptures in Deuteronomy and other places in the Bible, it tells you that the breath of life is the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? So Adam had the law. Noah had the law. How did he know which animals was clean and unclean? The Most High told him to put the 7 clean animals and 2 of the unclean.
Damn right.
So how could Adam be the first man? It don't make no damn sense, because it's not true. Anyway, these so-called Christians, and all of them are Christians. I'm talking about everybody.
Right.
You understand? It's not in the truth in the Isupk. They come up with all kind of fairy tales, man, and make the law, you understand, unlawful, you know, and make the truth into a lie, and a lie into what they perceive as the truth. Oh, shoot, we over the time, brother. I know. And with that, we say shalom, everybody. You understand? And with that, I pass the class over to priest and officer Maya Shah. You understand?